What's up, everyone? This is Kenya, and I am the creator of All Things Loop. And as you should know, Loop stands for Live It, Own It, Obtain It on Purpose. And as you should also know, we connect with leaders and influence of color across all industry, giving space to their voices and celebrating the power that lives within their story. We put your purpose on display. And as you know, we are still celebrating 28 days of Black excellence, and I am super, super excited, Miss Mrs. Dr. Ewune. Did I do it right?
You did.
I did that. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being on with us.
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
No problem. Thank you. So let's just get started. So tell me, how did you get started in your industry?
So, for everyone listening, I am a psychologist
Yeah.
and I entered the mental health field through curiosity, actually. I was, I believe, a sophomore or a junior in college, and I heard things about it. And so I decided to take an intro to psychology course as an elective, and I fell in love.
Wow. How important did you, when with your curiosity, how important did you find out that it was important for our community? How important was it for you?
That's a great question because that's actually the fire underneath me that keeps me pushing forward. So
Mm-hmm.
I identify as a Cameroonian American.
Mm-hmm.
I am first generation born in the United States. My family is from Central Africa and Cameroon. And being bicultural, there wasn't a word to that at this
Mm-hmm.
time. And it was always so hard for me to get people to understand like what I was really trying to convey and my difficulties in life, kind of being torn between two worlds, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I actually was introduced to the term biculturalism.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is me.
Right.
Like this perfectly defines me. And I just remember I felt so seen and I felt like my life experiences were validated.
Mm-hmm.
And even though biculturalism was great, it still was limited because it really didn't recognize the Black community or the African diaspora and how diverse we are. I still felt like it was channeling into a person being made of many different social identities.
Yeah.
And so, just having that moment where I felt seen and validated, I wanted to extend that to my community.
Yeah.
So, I wanted us to get more understanding of all the beautiful diversity that exists between the Black diaspora and all the communities within.
Awesome. What's your definition of Black excellence?
I would define Black excellence as being your full self.
Mm,
I think so often we get sidetracked into our careers or into
yeah.
very stringent paths in our lives, and you really don't get an opportunity to grow other parts of you, like hobbies, for example. I feel like hobbies aren't talked about as much. And I just think Black excellence is being your full self. So not just you when you're producing or
Yeah.
in that capacity, but you just existing
Hmm.
and being you in your beauty and all the non-productive, so to speak,
Right.
characteristics of you and honing into that and just tapping into all parts of you and being your full self.
Yeah, I was talking with we was interviewing the other day, and one of the things that the young lady said was, being your full self. But I was also like just chiming in and saying, you know, we it's time out for like getting up every morning and not having a focus,
Mhm.
like not having a focus, not knowing what we're doing, not knowing what the purpose is, like, and I feel like that's being yourself as well, like
Mhm.
being who you are in that moment, but also having an aim, having a focus, having a goal set for that day. Hey, it may not be the goal for the week, but it can be a goal set for that day. Every day set a goal for yourself to make it sure that you're being yourself at all times.
Yes, that's what it is, a goal for yourself,
Yeah.
not for anyone else, and I think that's being excellent is tapping into who you are and what you
Mhm.
enjoy. So I feel a lot of people struggle with answering that question, "Who are
Yeah.
you? What do you
Yeah.
enjoy? What is important to you?"
Yeah. Absolutely. So how do you feel you are contributing to the culture?
Ooh, um Going back to my fire into the
Mhm.
field, I am contributing by making spaces for other
Yeah.
people who have been deemed invisible
Mhm.
by our society. So I do that through my nonprofit organization, Minds Over Melanin,
Mhm.
in which we are creating spaces for marginalized communities, most especially within the Black community, and
Mm.
talking about our culture specific experiences and how they impact us so the mental health field can understand how to be there for us in a more appropriate way.
Do you believe that we have failed in that area, so to speak, with our culture and mental health?
I would not use the word failed. So
Okay.
to answer your question, short, no.
Okay.
Long answer is it is human to
Mm.
be wary of what you don't understand.
Yeah.
And I would actually counter that the mental health field has not been transparent
Mm.
in helping people to understand what we're about and what we want to do, how we exist, why we exist.
Yeah.
I think we can do a better job in that. And I don't think it's fair to put the blame on the people who are supposed to be served.
Mhm.
We're the professionals, so we should be the ones providing that dialogue and answering those questions that people may have to alleviate those concerns.
What's your definition of living in your purpose?
Living in your purpose, I feel like that goes back to what I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
What is important to you? Who are you?
Yeah.
And so, personally speaking, living in your purpose is what I'm doing. Like, I
Mhm.
love connecting with people, I love helping people.
Mhm.
And I feel there's nothing more powerful than someone feeling seen.
Mhm.
Like, really seeing all of them, not
Yeah.
just one part, seeing all of you, I feel is a gift. And so that is how I'm living my purpose is creating a path for multiple people to be seen in their truth, in their excellence.
Who have you looked up to that defines Black excellence?
Oh, that's a good question. Who have I looked up to? So many people.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say for the culture, Issa
Mhm.
Rae.
Wow.
I have watched her journey when she had videos on YouTube with Awkward Black Girl,
Mhm.
and watching her growth over the past few years has been nothing short of awesome.
Yeah.
And seeing how she's so authentic to herself, I admire that.
Yeah.
She is very aligned with her purpose. She's very aligned with her community. And she is very clear on what is important to her, what
Yeah.
she's about. Like, I truly feel like she has reached her full authentic self and she's rooted in that. And I aspire to be rooted in my full
Mhm.
authentic self.
Yeah.
So when I speak about hobbies, for example, or your passion, I'm also speaking about me.
Mhm.
We have this saying in the field called me search. The things that people are interested in have to do with them. And so it's like, who are you outside of your profession? Who are you outside of your productive roles and
Yeah.
tapping into all those parts of you?
What's next for you? How can we support you?
Next, a few things.
Okay.
Please follow us at Minds Over Melanin. So we have a website, mindsovermelanin.com. We're on all social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we are there. Follow us there. We provide daily digital content regarding mental health, self care, resources, and also we have updates and all the exciting things that we have coming down the pipeline. Just a sneak peek, we have an app coming out in the spring. So that's going to be
Yay.
really exciting. You'll have opportunities to reach providers, to get the resources you need, and you'll also have an opportunity to work hand in hand with mental health professionals in changing the mental health field and making it more culturally competent, which I think is a big deal.
It is truly is a big deal. I think that if I would have had, I don't know if I would say a name to it, but if I would just would have known a little bit more about mental health, I think that I would have been able to maneuver through college a lot better,
Yes.
than I did. So it's needed. Like this is needed for us. We walked around so many years not knowing what to call whatever we were going through.
Yes.
and
Yes.
we and we were labeled something that we really wasn't, when all we really probably needed was some strategies, someone to speak to discuss something. It's just it's just well needed right now.
It is, and the fact that you said that, that
Mhm.
is what the app is gonna help with.
Yeah.
So like you said, we're dealing with something, we don't have the appropriate language,
Yeah.
and as an unfortunate consequence, things can be misconstrued by the professionals.
Yeah.
One thing people don't know is Black people are more likely to be diagnosed with a serious mental illness
Mhm.
compared to a mood disorder like anxiety or depression,
Mhm.
because how the language that we use and how we express it sounds so different.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the key components of the app that we're going to be tapping into is, what does stress look like for you?
Yeah.
What does anxiety look like for you? What does depression look like for you? So we can understand your language and implement that into the system so those type of experiences don't happen. As well as, like you said, building a strategy that is relevant to what you're actually going through.
Yeah.
And as we know that there are certain situations that only certain cultures have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so, as a result of that, the one size fits all approach to self care, for example, may not be appropriate when we're dealing with things such as, racialized trauma.
Mhm.
That is something that's very specific and unfortunately very well known to the Black community.
Mhm.
So we need something that's going to speak to that specifically versus, other things that may be more applicable for other everyday stressors.
Right.
So that's something that the app is really going to be tapping into. So if you follow us or at least subscribe to the website, you're going to be up to date on all those happenings
And you said the app will be coming out in the spring, correct?
in this spring. So
Okay.
as long as you follow us or subscribe on the website, you will be up to date on that specific date.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I want to like dig so much into this. So I'm so excited to be able to bring awareness to this as far as our community. So I appreciate you coming on. I would love to do something else with you. So yeah, I'll reach out to you and see if we can hook back up just to bring more awareness to things like this.
Please do.
Uh,
Please do. And thank you so much for having me and giving the platform to myself and Minds of Melon to talk about what I'm up to and what we're going to do and how we're going to change mental health.
Absolutely. It's all my pleasure. Thank you guys so much. If you have not, please go follow All Things Loop. Please go follow everything that is going on. Until next time.